up, y'all? It's your girl Roxy with Roxy Says, and we're gonna talk about it. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you are returning, welcome back. So first of all, I have to say thank you all so much for your patience. I know this video is late, but as some of you know, I was out of town and my intention was to record while on vacation, edit and post, but baby, I was too lit, okay? It was too lit.
I'm sorry.
So I said, you know what? The day I come back, I'm gonna record and upload this video. So here we are. This is my review for episodes 8 and 9. There has also been a lot of tea that's been coming out. I'm gonna do a separate video for that because it's just so much. It's so much. So let's get into these episodes. First and foremost, I have to say one thing that episodes 8 and 9 showed me is that Uche and Izzy, they read out of the same book. I don't know where they got the book from. I don't know if it's at Barnes and Nobles. I don't know if they listen to it on Audible, but it's the same damn book. The book of manipulation, the book of lying by omission, the book of always making themselves the victim in every situation. And all they're doing is being the good guy. The book of only telling the full truth when they feel like it, when it serves them. The book of, oh, it has nothing to do with her. I'm just trying to protect my bro because I care about him so much. Shall I go on? They're reading from the same book. All right, so let's get into it, y'all. But before we do, don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you know every time I upload a new video. All right, so as episode 8 opens up, we picked up where we left off, where Uche was trying to speak to Milton about Lydia. So Uche pulls Milton aside, and clearly it's very important to him that we, the viewer, know that he didn't say anything bad about Lydia while in the pods. He said that she's a great person, the stalker, right? The stalker, she's a great person, she should never change, blah, 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 right? But remember in the pods, Uche wasn't speaking directly about Lydia, but he was telling Milton that he doesn't have to get engaged. I touched on that scene in one of my previous videos where Uche was trying to get more information from Milton, and Milton was like, yeah, I don't want to talk to you about that. So Uche's trying to make it seem like Lydia was the only one in the pods who was talking shit in somebody's ear, but we can see that Uche was also fishing for information from Milton. It's just that Milton shut that down in a way that Aaliyah should have with Lydia, but she didn't. But in this conversation, Uche is being his normal, calculated self, and he's trying to cast doubt in Milton's mind about his relationship with Lydia. Lydia immediately comes over and she's dragging Milton away like some little rag doll. I didn't like that because once again, Lydia is mothering Milton. She doesn't trust that he's able to handle a conversation with Uche, where we later see, oh, Milton is more than capable of handling a conversation with Uche. And why can't he have a conversation with Uche? You had 2 conversations with Uche, right? Remember, Milton tried to save you from that conversation and you dismissed him and told him that you'll talk to him when you're finished speaking to Uche. Now he can't speak to Uche. Why not? And that is why I am not team Uche. I am not team Lydia. I feel like they've both done things in this experiment that are shady as hell. I feel like in a lot of cases, they're both telling the truth and they're still both leaving things out and framing things in a way that of course makes them look like the better person, right? But Lydia wanting to pull Milton away from that conversation with Uche does lead me to believe that a lot of the things that Uche is saying Lydia did, she did. But in the same breath, that does not absolve Uche from his responsibility in whatever went down in this relationship. And I'm gonna call it a relationship because when he's speaking to Milton about whatever him and Lydia had, he's calling it a relationship. So I'm gonna call it a relationship too, okay? So Lydia is dragging Milton away and Uche is like, oh my God, can I talk to my friend? Please don't let her come in between us. Uche, shut up. But Uche still needs to get this monologue out, right? He's been practicing it in the mirror over and over and over. He's like, oh my God, I have to tell someone this. So he goes over to everyone else and he starts telling them the same thing that he was trying to tell Milton, because he just can't stop talking about this girl who's obsessed with him. Here's the thing with this obsession. Like I said in my previous video, I feel like Uche is putting 20 on 10 when it comes to Lydia. If Uche said 1 or 2 friends called him and was like, hey, your ex is looking at my stories, then maybe I could believe it. But Uche is giving the impression that all of these people, all of his friends were calling him. But I think it's more believable that Uche called his friends and was like, yo, check your stories for me and let me know if my crazy ex Lydia is looking at your stories. Oh, she is? Okay, send me screenshots. That's more believable to me than all of these people just calling Uche randomly to let him know that Lydia was looking at their stories. Like, so that's what I mean when I say that I do believe that they have both done things. Like, I do believe that Lydia was looking at his stories, but I don't believe that things happened exactly the way Uche is saying it happened. You get what I'm saying? Anyway, so Uche goes over to the group and he's letting everyone know that Lydia followed him here and she's obsessed with him. And Johnny is shocked. Johnny's like, oh my God, right? And for some reason, Stacy had an issue with Johnny's shocked face and asked her, like, what are you looking at? Is your face okay? Is Stacy trying to fight? Because where I'm from, that's fighting words. It's giving, I know my man really wants this girl, so I'm gonna take out my frustration on her. That was unnecessary and you look crazy as hell. And even in this moment, Izzy was telling Stacy to chill, which is surprising to me because later we're gonna find out how turned on he gets when Stacy rails Johnny. So because the focus is no longer on Uche and this story that nobody cares about, he's like, can I finish? Can I finish? Can I finish? Uche, no one gives a damn what you're talking about. Nobody cares. And even while he was talking, all of the ladies were rolling their eyes. And they said, the way that you're describing what happened between Lydia and Aaliyah, that is not how we saw it. Lydia was definitely being genuine when she was caring for Aaliyah in the pods. Now, I can't get with that, okay? Because even if Lydia was being caring to Aaliyah in the pods, I just don't see how genuine it could have been, knowing that we know that during that time, Lydia was already aware that her ex Uche was in the pods, and that is who Aaliyah was crying about. You get what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't be surprised if at the reunion, they're singing a different tune about Lydia. I do feel like they'll find it a bit creepy after they find out all of the information. So all of the ladies are speaking, right? Stacy is speaking, Johnny is speaking, Renee is speaking. All the ladies are speaking, but for some reason, when Miriam the spy speaks, it's a problem. Now listen, if this is your first time here and you don't know, over here, Miriam is called Miriam the spy, okay? From that first date with Uche, she wasn't answering questions. I'm like, sis, are you here on a secret mission? But I found it really interesting that Uche had no problem hearing from the other ladies as opposed to hearing from Miriam, right? And I haven't watched the full interview that Cameron did with Aaliyah, but I have seen the headlines, and his behavior in this scene definitely backs up what people are saying his sentiments are towards Black women. And I'ma just keep it real. And of course, there are things that went down in the pods that we didn't see, but I think if it was anything to the extent that would have warranted Uche's reaction to Miriam, like being so dismissive and so rude, I feel like we would have seen that. Because it was just giving, girl, I don't care what you have to say. Your word means nothing to me. I'll listen to them, but not you. But Uche gets up, he calls her bitter, and he does start reading Miriam, okay? For all of the things that I was saying, girl, what is going on? Uche is like, do you have a job? Do you not have a job? Do you live in Saudi Arabia? Do you live in Houston? Like, he was just going in, and I was just like, he do got a point, sis. Like, I can't. He kind of ate you up, sis. He did. But I do like that Miriam said what she said. You got that toxic masculinity going on. You are self-absorbed, okay? And if you think I'm going to cry like Lydia and Aaliyah do, no, that's not what's going to happen over here. And do you see how Uche moves when he's interacting with a woman that he can't punch down on? When he was speaking to Lydia, right? He was sitting down calm. Lydia was acting a fool. And he's like, no, come back. Let's finish the conversation. Can we finish the conversation? But when it came to Miriam, who was giving him a different type of energy that he couldn't handle, he had to get up and excuse himself. Yeah, get your ass up and walk away. Next, we see Milton and Lydia come back, and Lydia is telling Milton that Uche is bothered at the fact that she's moving on and she's happy. And I 100% agree. The way that Uche is acting with Lydia is not giving, oh my gosh, she's this crazy stalker, get her away from me. It's giving, oh my gosh, she's about to move on, let me mess this up for her and Milton. Anyway, so in this next scene, we see Milton speaking to Uche, and baby, the way I went up for Milton in this next scene, I was like, yeah, Milton, you better show them that maturity doesn't necessarily come with age, okay? Because Milton is the most mature man on this show. Are there things that Milton needs to work on? Yes. Is Milton going to need to have a healthy balance of being able to walk away from a situation and still knowing when he needs to show emotion? Yes, he's going to have to balance that out. But I think overall, looking at Izzy, Uche, and Milton, oh, Milton's top dog. So Uche's saying the same thing. She can't let me go. She planned for us to be here. She's obsessed with me. And Milton is paying him dust. With people like Uche, that's what you need to do. You can't start crying. You can't start yelling and screaming because that's what he feeds off of. You have to pay people like Uche dust. So Milton tells Uche, your perception is your reality, right? You both have different perspectives of what happened, and that is okay. And then because Uche sees that Milton isn't really moved by that whole obsession, she followed me here thing, he's like, well, what happens if when you guys communicate and she just storms off? Like, is that something that you want to deal with? Why do you care? Do you want to be their premarital counselor? Because if she does do that, which she later does in episode 9, that is for Milton to find out and for him to decide if that's something that he wants to deal with for the long term. And then Milton hits Uche with some calculus. He's talking about the x-axis, the y-axis, the z-axis, the moon and the stars. And Uche's like, well, how's y'all communication though? Again, why do you care? For the Uche warriors, honestly, y'all telling me that y'all looked at this scene and you still think that there's no way in hell that Uche's feelings for Lydia aren't stronger than he's been letting on this whole season? Are you... But anyway, Uche is asking Milton, do you think that this is just a honeymoon phase? Do you think that this is lifelong? Isn't everyone here in their honeymoon phase? Go home, Uche. No one gives a damn about what you're talking about. No one cares. Milton sees through all of this and he's like, all right, bro. He don't need to see no text messages, no screenshots. He's like, all right, I'll see you in the group chat. Uche, you can't tell from that conversation that Milton really don't like you like that. You can't tell from the conversation I was speaking about previously when y'all were in the pods and you was trying to get in Milton's business and he shut you down. You couldn't tell from that conversation Milton don't really like you like that? No self-awareness. None. In the next scene, we see another convo that includes a man who is trying to mask his true feelings for somebody under the guise of, oh, I'm just looking out for my friend. Izzy and Chris. So they're discussing the conversation that left Izzy so hot and bothered. You know, the one where he was railing Johnny. Izzy told Chris that he never told Johnny that she was a bad person. And when Johnny did go over to Chris crying after that conversation, she did paraphrase a lot. And then Izzy tells Chris, well, you know, she did tell me that she loves me 4 times. I counted. And I never said it back. And he also tells Chris that Johnny asked him to be her boyfriend. And clearly this is all news to Chris. Johnny should have told Chris the depth of her relationship with Izzy, just so that Chris wasn't blindsided like he was in this moment about the things that they said to each other while in the pods. So Stacy comes over to the conversation and then Johnny comes over, and immediately when Johnny comes over, she's like, everything they're saying is a lie. It's all a lie. Girl, you don't even know what they're talking about. So you already look guilty as hell. Then we see Stacy getting crazy again. Stacy, girl, you got to get that under control, sis. You gonna put your finger in the wrong person's face. And Johnny asked a good question. She's like, if y'all are so happy, why are you here like tag teaming my man? Shouldn't y'all be like in a corner somewhere making out? Why y'all keep talking to my man? Why? Johnny called Stacy deceitful for not telling her that Izzy was her #1 option in the pods. Johnny girl, don't nobody owe you that. I think that Stacy actually played the game really well. She was really smart about it. I don't think anyone should be discussing who their main pick is in this experiment. We saw that with Irina, Bliss, and Zach last season, okay? So this convo is pretty much them going back and forth. Stacy and Izzy are telling Johnny that she's a shit person. Stacy is really riled up. And Johnny says the same thing that she always says. Ask everybody out there, I'm a good person. Girl, no. The people out there, they don't really like you either. So stop telling people to ask about you because the majority of people don't like you. And then out of nowhere, Uche pops up in this scene. And I'm like, oh my God, is he gonna try to show them the screenshots too? They don't care, Uche. Go home. But that's not what happens. He's just sitting there listening. However, we see the cutest conversation between Lydia and Milton, and he's reassuring her. He's like, look, all of this is minute. It doesn't matter. He says, you beautiful, you strong, you making money. Like, who cares what he gotta say? Who cares? Period. And I love that. That was a really cute conversation. So now Stacy and Izzy get home, and what's really funny to me about these two is you see that same little confrontational, argumentative mood that y'all were in just a second ago with Johnny. Yeah, now y'all got home and y'all are about to be in the same mood with each other. Imagine coming home from a party, y'all both a little lit, y'all both a little tipsy, and y'all are discussing somebody's ex. That should be the last thing on the agenda, okay? Okay, so the two are discussing everything that just happened with Johnny and Chris, and they're agreeing for some time until it hits Stacy, and she's like, wait, but why do you even care? And the same thing that Uche is doing, trying to make it seem like he's just trying to look out for a bro. That's the same thing that Izzy is doing, saying that he wants to look out for Chris and Chris needs to know. And again, Stacy's like, yeah, but why do you care? Chris is a grown ass man, okay? He can handle himself. He's not a wounded dog. Because in my opinion, the conversation that Izzy was having with Johnny, it didn't come out of a place of care for Chris. It came out of a place where I feel Izzy wanted to let it be known that Johnny wanted me, okay? She wanted me more than I wanted her. Even though she's here with Chris, I just wanted to be known, okay? She wanted me. Stacy keeps cutting him off, and Izzy does not like that. And like I said in my previous videos about waiting for the other shoe to drop with Izzy and that Izzy is unraveling, every single episode we see him unravel more and more. Izzy has the nerve to tell Stacy that he got turned on by watching her rail into Johnny. First of all, Izzy, I know that you're tipsy, but did you already forget that Stacy literally just told you stop comparing her to Johnny? And you come upstairs to the apartment and you do it again. Hello. But him getting turned on by that, I'm sorry, it's giving Killer Couples. If y'all seen that show, you know what I'm talking about. Like, that turns you on. Why? And he's doing the same thing again. I appreciate you so much. I'm so happy that I picked you. And Stacy's like, I want you to want me for me, not because I was just the better option than the other girl. I think that what Izzy's real issue is that he is actually more attracted to Johnny than he is to Stacy. And because he knows that, he's trying to overcompensate by being mean to Johnny to kind of throw Stacy off of his tracks. But every now and again, he slips and he says things that make Stacy go, huh. So then Stacy starts talking about all of the things that she feels Izzy doesn't do for her. And Izzy's like, what? Like, this is the first time that I'm hearing this. I'm shocked about this. And she's like, when I come home, you don't do sweet things for me. You don't cook for me. And Izzy says, well, I clean and I'm patient and I'm kind. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's pretty basic, boo. Things that should be appreciated, but still basic nonetheless. Now, clearly from what Stacy is saying, Izzy described himself in a particular way while in the pods, and Stacy is expecting him to make good on what he was selling. You said you would do A, B, C, D. I am expecting A, B, C, D. Now, it would be one thing if in the pods, Izzy said, he doesn't really do romantic things. And now that they're out of the pods, Stacy is expecting this romantic guy, but that's not what happened. That's what he sold her on. He told her he was gonna cook for her. Where the food at? There's no food. There's no plates. There's no spoons. There's no cups. Like, what's going on? The D that had Stacy head over heels in Mexico, baby, the D is wearing off. And here's where I feel Izzy uses manipulation, right? Whenever his back is against the wall, whenever he's being confronted, he's gonna flip it. He's gonna make himself the victim. He's gonna cry. He's gonna say those weren't his intentions. And we'll see a lot of that later. And yes, it is important to have a man who shows emotion. It's very important. It's very dangerous, however, to be with someone who uses their emotions to manipulate you. And from what I'm seeing with Izzy, he does that a lot. So he goes into the closet, and when Stacy goes into the closet and she's like, why are you crying? And he says that he feels like he's not good enough for her. I think that he's not only saying what Stacy feels, right? I feel like he's also saying what he knows himself. He knows that what Stacy wants, he's not going to be able to provide. And that is okay. If your finances aren't where you want them to be, that is understandable. Shit is hard. Everybody is trying to make it, but don't try to fake the funk. You get what I'm saying? It's almost giving, what's their names? Roxanne and Antonio from The Ultimatum last season. If those two stay together, that's what I see that relationship turning into. Next, we see another conversation with Milton and Lydia, and they are once again speaking about emotions. Milton is telling Lydia that for him, it is a privilege for someone to see his emotions, right? He's not easily riled up the way that Lydia is. Now, I understand Milton wanting Lydia to be more like him in that sense, but at the same time, that is a situation that was probably hard for her to just walk away from and say, okay, whatever. I would have cursed him out too, okay? So now it's 12 days before the wedding. We see Izzy. He goes down to Stacy's job to tell her that he feels unappreciated, right? Because before she was feeling unappreciated, but now he got to let her know, no, it's not you who feels unappreciated. It's me. And I like that in this instance, Stacy is listening to Izzy, but she's still standing her ground. And she's like, I just feel like the things that I do aren't reciprocated. So they talk, and Izzy gives her this gift. It's like a cook for you coupon and a plunger because she had clogged up the toilet in Mexico, right? And she thinks that it's the sweetest thing that she's ever received, and no one's ever given her a gift like that. And I'm like, okay, if you like it, I love it, sis. But to me, in this scene, nothing is resolved. And what they do is they go back to that same shit that they keep saying all throughout the season. They're not going to give up on each other. They're going to fight for each other. Y'all bond more over this sentiment of not wanting to give up on each other than your actual relationship. Y'all like the idea of being with someone who won't give up on you. Meanwhile, y'all arguing every other day.
Give it up.
Even though in a relationship, there are going to be tough times, y'all are going to get into disagreements. Y'all are going to get into fights. I feel like the person that you are in a relationship with should add to your peace. Y'all should not be fighting every day. Y'all should not be arguing every day, crying every day. No. So now we are 10 days away from the wedding. We see Izzy. He's at Stacy's place with her puppy Tux. So we see Izzy's mom come over, and I love Izzy's mom. She's a sweetheart. She reminds me of Bliss's mom from last season. Just a ball of candy, just sweet, right? And we can see that they have a really close relationship given his childhood and everything that he went through. And she loves her son. She wants her son to be happy. She also mentions a couple of times that she doesn't want Izzy to be hurt, and she also doesn't want Izzy to hurt Stacy, right? So let me tell y'all this. I watched a couple of minutes of the Nick Viall. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it right, but I watched a little bit of that interview with him and Izzy, but I had to go because I had a nail appointment. Izzy tells the story of what happened between him and his ex-fiance. So he said what happened is they were together for 2 years. After 2 years, they got engaged. They were engaged for 6 months, okay? They went on a cruise together while they were engaged. It was a 7-day cruise. And on the 5th day, she saw some things in her phone that confirmed that she was cheating on him. On the 5th day of a 7-day cruise. Lord have mercy. So anyway, Stacy comes home. Izzy's mom gives her the warmest hug, just the warmest hug. And Stacy is pretty chill, way more chill than Izzy. When Izzy is speaking about Stacy, he says that she loves him unconditionally. Listen, don't you dare, and I'm speaking to you, don't you let anybody walk around on this earth thinking that your love for them is unconditional. And this is in romantic relationships, friendships, whatever, family relationships. My love is not unconditional. My love has conditions. So overall, the meeting went really well. Izzy's mom clearly loves Stacy. She feels that Stacy genuinely loves her son, and she's hoping for the best for the both of them. Child, in this next scene, we see Milton taking Lydia to meet his family. 2 seconds with these people, and I was like, okay, I see why Milton is so smart. His family is affluent. They are educated. And I can tell that Milton's parents had him in those books, him and his sister, at a very early age. And that's why he's excelled in his academic career. Lydia is being her normal, bubbly self, extra. So immediately Milton's mom and sister are sizing Lydia up, right? Milton's mom says, I hear an accent. Now, I saw some people, they found that offensive. Tell me what you think below, because people tell me I have an accent all the time and I don't take offense to it. But I saw a couple people on Twitter who didn't like that. Let me know what you think below. So they start asking Lydia a lot of questions, and she lets them know about her education. And the mom is definitely impressed. And she says that she loves seeing women in STEM. And I'm like, whew, Lydia, thank God you got that education, because baby, that's the only thing going for you when it comes to this family. I honestly think that the education was like the only thing that saved Lydia a little bit in this entire interaction. The mom and sister ask Lydia about the age difference. Have you ever dated someone this young? And Lydia says, no, I've dated older men, but Milton has proven himself to be more mature than people who are much older than him. But as mom and sis point out, Lydia's answers do seem pretty rehearsed, pretty scripted. He's not perfect, but he's perfect for me. You know, all of those generic ass responses. Yeah, that's what Lydia's giving. And the family is not buying it. And when they ask Milton, AKA Little James, because that's his name, James, when they ask him why he's getting married now, he can't really answer the question. And his sister jumps in and she says, "'Cause it's phony." Well, damn, sis, tell us how you really feel. But Milton's brother-in-law does jump in and he says maybe he hasn't discussed it with you, but he's definitely let me know that he is ready for marriage. So, okay. Milton's mom and sister take Lydia aside to have a private conversation with her. And Milton's mom is ready to do a whole SWOT analysis on this union, and I don't blame her. It's a very important decision. And the person that you marry can literally make or break you in so many ways, including financially. But I will say that this scene made me cringe so many times because Lydia kept cursing. And one of the times where she curses, you see the sister look like, girl, like, why you keep cursing? Like, girl, you don't have no home training? Like, that was the look on her face, okay? But this conversation is honestly Milton's mom and sister trying to poke holes in the relationship. Lydia asks how important it is to them if her and Milton have a child that they name the son James Milton Johnson V. And the sister's like, the 4th. And the mom is like, the 5th. Girl, you trying to go in so much on Lydia that you done killed off your brother. He is the 4th. I understand this is the grilling session, but simmer down, okay? So at the end of the conversation, they're not really sold on Lydia. She definitely does not get the blessing like how Milton got the blessing from her mom and brother. You can definitely tell in this relationship, if Lydia and Milton move forward, Milton's mom and sister will try their best to be very involved. I do think from what we've seen in these 2 episodes, Milton is good with setting boundaries. He's able to tell someone when a particular conversation isn't going to go any further. I don't know how easily he'll be able to do that when it comes to his mom and sister, but I guess we'll see. All right, y'all. So now we are on episode 9. Not much happened in this episode. I watched it on 1.5. Okay, we only have 2 couples. So we see both couples go to get their marriage license. We see them get fitted for their dress, their tux.
blah, 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 blah.
I think that both Stacy and Lydia's dress look very nice. We do get some info that Stacy's family loves Izzy. They spend a lot of time together. We know that that's really important to Izzy. All he wants is to be part of someone else's family. So we'll see how that pans out. Because even in this scene, Izzy is talking about him and Stacy's ability to resolve issues, but y'all don't resolve issues. And we're gonna get into that in just a second. So now it's only 2 days until the wedding. Izzy takes Stacy on a cute date. They go for a ride on the airplane, right? Because her dad said that she needs to be flying first class at all times. So this was cute, right? Because after the plane ride, we see that he has like the table set up. And I'm like, ooh, did he finally cook for her? No, he did not. And I'm like, Izzy, damn, are you gonna cook for this girl like you said you would? Just cook for her. Izzy does let her know that a huge chunk of his family will not be there. It'll primarily just be him and his mom and people who are really close, because he doesn't want people there judging them, judging the experience. And I agree, that's an important day. So you want people there who you genuinely feel love and care about you and are there for the right reason. So I totally understand that. Next, we see a short conversation between Milton and his sister, and she's still asking him, why are you doing this? And Milton pretty much says that it's his gut feeling that makes him secure in his decision. And his sister says that they're usually more involved with his decision making. So with this, it's kind of hard for them to take a step back and let him make this decision on his own. But that is exactly what y'all are going to have to do in this situation. Y'all little baby boy, he's growing up. He's making his own decisions. If it is the wrong decision, he's gonna have to learn from it, and it is what it is. Child, so not 1 day before the wedding, shit hit the fan with Izzy and Stacy. When I tell you that him and Uche read from the same book of omission, I'm not joking. Izzy think he's slick, but I peep game, Izzy. I know what you're doing. And a lot of people have dealt with an Izzy and an Uche before, and because of it, we're able to pick up on things a little bit quicker than someone else who hasn't. First of all, why the hell is Izzy packing his suitcase like that? I've never seen anyone pack their suitcase like that. Even if it's all dirty clothes because you're going home, still, I've never seen anyone pack a suitcase like that. So the conversation of credit finally comes up, okay? We didn't get to see the conversation, but it looks like they went to the gas station together and Izzy didn't have a credit card, and Stacy asked him like, why didn't he have a credit card? And he kind of just chalked it up to like, he just didn't have one, right? But the mood is very tense, right? And Izzy is asking Stacy how she feels about their previous conversation. And Stacy says, I feel like I just can't trust you. And he's like about what? What do you mean about what? Clearly about what you two previously discussed. So in all of the conversations that these two had about money, about finances, Izzy withheld the fact that he has bad credit. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't information that wasn't important. He knew it was important, and he made sure to not tell her. He made sure to omit that from his truth. Remember Izzy, the one who kept the little lost and found because he wanted to be raw. He wanted to be straight up with Stacy. He wanted her to know everything about him. However, he made sure to leave that part out. Miss us with the bullshit, please. So they're having this discussion 1 day before the wedding, and Izzy says that he wanted to have the conversation with her, but he wanted it to be formal. He wanted to sit down and have the conversation. What difference does it make? Because you had the conversation in the pods with Johnny. You just sat down with her on a date. You could have brought it up there. And this conversation is irritating because Izzy is acting dumb. He's saying, I didn't hide it from you, but he did. He's saying he doesn't ramble as a means to bullshit and beat around the bush, but he does. And Stacy has every right to not trust him. And then in this conversation, what he tries to do is flip it on her and blame her for being the reason why he kept that information a secret. He said it was miscommunication. He says, sorry if you felt that way. He says, you took what I said the wrong way. You got upset. I don't want to feel like I have to walk on eggshells around you. No. We're not going to play this game, because what Izzy is trying to do is make her feel bad to the way that she reacted to him lying to her. He knows that he lied or lied by omission, but what he's going to do is flip it and make her feel like the way that she reacted makes him feel like he can't be honest with her. And it's not that Stacy was upset about the credit, right? Of course, it's important to her, but in my opinion, she was more upset at the fact that he didn't tell her. And now he's trying to flip it on her as if she shouldn't be upset about him withholding information from her. No, sir. Go find somebody else to run that game on. Manipulative as hell. He claims that he's no longer in debt. He says that it was only over $3,500. She asked him about a particular time where it would have been really natural for him to bring up this situation. And he's like, no, I didn't think about it during that time. So when were you going to tell her, Izzy? It's 1 day until the wedding. When were you going to tell her? After she married you? That's scary, okay? That's scary. And I feel like we missed a huge chunk of this conversation because like in the next clip, they're hugging and they're telling each other they're not going to give up on each other. I'm tired of hearing these two say they're not going to give up on each other because y'all need to give up. Next, we see Lydia and Milton go on a date. They're at like this mineral museum type thing. It's really cute because it's like the perfect setting for them. But they're going back and forth about Milton's cleanliness. I know Milton is young, but baby sir, you're going to have to pick up after yourself. You're going to have to clean up after yourself. Married or not, you're an adult. No one should have to walk after you and pick up your clothes, pick up your towel, pick up your plate, pick up your food. I understand if he has something on the floor, you go in the bathroom, you see it, okay, you pick it up. But he shouldn't just be leaving his shit all on the floor, his plates, with the expectation that someone is going to clean it up after him. No, baby sir, okay? No. But Milton was like, okay, you want to talk about me? Let's talk about you, sis. So Milton tells Lydia that he did not like the way that she handled the Uche situation and he felt like she should have just walked away, ignored him, left it alone. Lydia says that it's hard for her to just ignore Uche because she spent a lot of precious time with him. And Milton says, who cares? So Milton's response also lends me to believe that Lydia has downplayed her relationship with Uche to Milton as well. Because mind you, they were just together, 3-4 months ago? I don't know when this particular scene was filmed, but maybe at this time it was now 4 months ago, right? And we've heard both Uche and Lydia discuss the love that they had for each other while they were in their relationship. Milton tells Lydia that he doesn't like that when she's telling him about himself, he's listening and he's receptive to the things that she tells him that he needs to fix or improve on. But when he's telling her about herself, she gets defensive. She doesn't want to hear it. She has a justification for everything that she does. And Milton says when he feels disrespected, that's when he shows someone who the fuck he is based on his actions, okay? And I felt that. He said he's not doing all the yelling. He's not doing all the arguing. He's not doing the back and forth. What is Milton's sign? I want to know. And she starts explaining to Milton that they are different people. And this is very true, right? Like I said before, Lydia is a lot. Milton is not. They're going to have a happy medium because clearly they both handle situations in completely different ways. But I do like the conversation that they had here because I felt like Milton was being genuine. He did have a bit of judgment when he was telling her that she should be more like him. You can't really tell someone that because like I said before, they're completely different people, but I feel like he did it in a way that wasn't condescending. He wasn't trying to be manipulative. I feel like he really wanted the conversation to go well. He wasn't looking for like a gotcha moment. You get what I'm saying? But even though Milton is speaking to Lydia really calmly, she gets worked up, she gets up and she storms off. And I'm like, damn, Lydia, why you had to prove Uche right? That's what he said that you was going to do in the beginning of episode 8. He said you're going to get up and walk away. Damn, Uche, you know your girl, don't you? But Milton did not follow her. He sat there, he ate his food. So Lydia had to come back to the table. And when she comes back, we see them apologize to each other. They're holding hands, they're sharing I love yous, and that's really cute and all, but we can definitely see that this is going to be an ongoing issue in their relationship. Also, if Lydia keeps getting this triggered by Uche, Milton's definitely going to start to have a problem with that, which he should. But in all honesty, Lydia and Milton have no business getting married, nor do Stacy and Izzy. Okay, everyone just pack it up and go home, okay? I've seen a lot of other things coming out about this season. The interview with Cameron and Aaliyah, allegations about another contestant being SA'd, which is absolutely crazy and horrible. And also Renee giving a little bit of info on her relationship with, what's his name, Carter. So I'll try to do a video regarding like all of the tea that's off of the show because it's like we got 2 shows in one, what's actually airing and all of the drama behind the scenes. So I'll try to do that video tomorrow. My team has to gather up all of the information and my team is just me. So tell me all your thoughts below about episode 8 and 9. As we know, so much happened. Don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know when I'm posting my next video, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.